Mr. Hyman was speaking about, becoming part of like Moms Who Demand Action. Can you tell us a little bit of the work that you and Gwendolyn do?
Well, I am actually a certified rape crisis counselor. I did volunteer for a number of months at a domestic violence agency, and then that sort of brought me more into political activism. I started Grand Strand Action Together shortly after the 2016 election. That is a nonprofit group, so we are not a part of the Democratic Party.
Right.
We focus on civil rights issues, social issues, human rights issues. And I believe myself that Mal is the best one for our area, and I had the privilege of meeting Gwen at her trunk or treat for Ebony's Hope this past October.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were there too? We were there.
Yeah, we were there.
She was there. Mal was there too.
You were there?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
We were all there. And as she said, it is I do it. It's a domestic violence awareness rally, and I couple it with a trunk or treat because we have to start them early. We have to start talking about domestic violence, conflict resolution. So what we do is Ebony's Hope, the annual event, is a fun event. We do a trunk or treat. We signed up for Christmas assistant. I also get a lot of people sign up for a continuing ed class, different things about the community and the resources they have. So we invite several groups like GSAP and all that. And it's just like Mal said, it takes the grassroots organizations coming together as a coalition and becoming the movement. Each of us have a purpose. We don't have to be doing the same thing. Each of us can tackle what our personal issue is, and we can come together and become a mighty force. And that's just what I believe. And I would like to say also, Ebony is Moms and Every Town is a nonpartisan organization also. And we are just about making sure that we're safe and that we educate the community. And that's why I support GSAP. I talk to Mal one-on-one, and I'm not easy to be swayed. And the first time I talked to him, I was like, yes, here's who I'm going to back. I don't know if I can curse, but I said, I need to get Tom Rice's ass out this chair.
Amen.
Amen to that.
And I'm going to tell you all why I said that. In December, we just passed a law over to the House that says that we can have permitless carry. And that means that you can come into a public place with a handgun concealed. And I'm saying to him, so that means you're saying that convicted felon that walked in that bingo could have blown my damn sister head off. I dare the different. That means that my dad, who was walking to get Sunday church shirt, desired to be shot. I'm saying I dare the different. And he, you know what? He co-sponsored another bill that's deadly to us. I'm saying to you, let your voices be heard. Put your money where it matters. Put your money who hears the common man, who hasn't forgotten you, who hears you, who knows that, you know what, we're hurting. Right here in Georgetown, we have had a rash of shooting. I had Shaw Cox. Y'all know him. Y'all heard his name. We had another young man that was shot, 19 years old. We have Gawk, as you hear. We had a number of people being lost. This gun violence hasn't just started. The things that we're facing, the epidemics that we're facing, the social economics, the community, economic, this man hears you. So I'm saying he believed in the common man. He took me, I can remember Ms. Bezalou telling me in 7th grade, your beginning did not define your end. She told, your beginning did not define your end. It didn't matter what my mother was, what my father was. That if I was determined, I can do it. Mal worked the prison system. He worked the school system. He's in the college. He's constantly giving back to us. I'm saying to you, my people, we need a change. It's like the people in the church say we need a revival. And if we don't stir it up and start to change on the grassroots level, we will constantly be where we are, without jobs, broken down houses. Our kids out here shooting because they don't have nothing to do. They're bored. You heard it. Idle mind is the devil playground, and the devil is attacking our children. So I am, and we've also heard in the last 4 years, make America great again. Georgetown, I dare you to make America safe. Vote Mal Hyman in. Common sense for the common man. Let's get it. All day, Georgetown.
That's my sister, and it's her birthday.
Love it.
It's Mal.
I mean, you got nothing after that.
I love it. I want to share a story. Teaching in the state prison, I would ask inmates, at what point did you lose your hope and fall into despair? And typically they'd say at the age of 11, 12, and 13. They didn't pick their parents, their community, their schools, or their country. We made a lot of bad choices. So I challenge, and I say this in every speech, we need to do things differently. We need to truly leave no child behind. We have to do unto the least of these. We have to have liberty and justice for all. And this really borrows from an old struggle back in the 60s when I was coming of age, where Marion Wright Edelman out of Bennettsville has been fighting for kids, where she said, and remember, she inspired Martin Luther King to have the Poor People's March on Washington, a woman from Bennettsville, South Carolina, and she's still saying it. We need to join it. She said, all kids have a right to food, health care, housing, good schools, safe streets, clean air, and clean water. I believe that's true, and all kids have to be treated with the same respect that we treat our own kids. I'd like to be the first member of Congress to be able to say that from the floor of Congress.
Absolutely. So when all the things that you name as far as what Ms. Marion Wright Edelman said, I learned this word as I was researching, intersectionality, and you spoke of some of those things. And for those who don't know what that word means, it's a concept often used in critical theories to describe the ways in which oppressive institutions such as racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, classism, etc., are interconnected and cannot be examined separately for one another. So when we look at a gun violence victim, when we look at someone who is a domestic violence victim, a woman that is a survivor, we must look at all facets of their identity and recognize that each person's story and needs are unique. And so when you speak about the things that kids need, food, housing, those are all essentials, and those are all things that the basic fundamentals that all children deserve, all humans deserve. So when we want to describe a domestic violence survivor, in reference to the state of South Carolina, what does that survivor look like? Like, who are these survivors? Who are these victims? Like we spoke on, it's not about, the socioeconomic, it's not about, the class or your race or anything like that. What is it that in South Carolina, why are we always ranked in the top 5?
Well, and we're going to further that. In the last 18 years, South Carolina has ranked in the top 10, 17 of those 18 years. You can look that up on the SouthCarolina.com. Those are facts. South Carolina has number 1. In the year that Ebony was killed, South Carolina was number 1, and Horry County was number 1 in the state. One of the richest county here who does not have a domestic violence shelter. When I deal with victims, most of the time it is a process. It's called a control wheel. And a survivor, it starts with everything that you say. It ties into what I said Ebony Hope was, providing them with the resources, economical thing, educating them. Because a lot of time it's about control. That man or woman, because women are abusers too. We need to know that 51% are women, but 49% is men, but men do not report as often. It starts with control. He usually controls the finances, so she's afraid to lose. There's usually children involved, so there's no job. Usually a lack of education or different things. So me personally, I work with the mentality of the women first. When my organization doesn't just deal with the victim, we deal with victims and family. Mm-hmm. We deal with the family, the abuser, the women, the children, and we provide those resources. And that's why it's so important that we interlink like how we are right now so we can expose those resources. But most of the time you have women who have no way to go, and it's shame. Mm-hmm. And I think we all know that sometimes shame keeps us in a place longer than we need to be. Right. And then once we get out of this, though, they get out of these domestic violence situations, people are saying, were you that dumb? Mm. Right. You know, instead of just listening. I mean, if anybody know us, we are the Reed-Thomasson family, and we think that we're the biggest, baddest family. Never us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Never us.
Never us.
We never thought that we would be less than a half a mile and this would happen. But it goes to show it doesn't have to be. You know, and when you say about the children deserve everything, my father was killing. My mother had 15 of us in the house, 15 children, 29 years old. Mm-hmm. And I know about no hope. And he said it starts at 11 and 12. I met Miss Bezelou at 12 years old at Beck Middle School. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I didn't know she was planting a hope. I didn't know she was planting a seed. And at the time, my mother was 29. And people say, well, it starts at home. But when you're hopeless in the house, how could you give hope when I don't possess it? Mm-hmm. You know where my hope came from? My hope came from my community. Mm-hmm. The people of Georgetown set a standard for Gwen, and it didn't let me waver. When I was 15, a teen mom, dad got life in prison, still in prison, son 27. You know what? They still saw hope in me. Mal's, it's so funny, Mal's campaign for Georgetown, Donald Gilliard's grandmother taught me how to play piano. Would take me in her name was Miss Sweet. It was Ernestine, but we call her Miss Sweet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she taught me how to play piano. Mm-hmm. And she took that time and she gave me a gift. You know, the people of my community gave me something to hold on to. They get, and that's all that we have to do. We have to foster back hope because our children, mm-hmm. the house is hopeless, but we, the community, I know we can do it. Yeah. Look at me. Yeah. Nobody told me I would have 3 degrees, 2 businesses. Nobody told me. Mm-hmm. My mother didn't see it. All she saw was 15 and me repeating history because she did it. She thought that was it. But you know what? My community said, your ladder shall be greater. Mm-hmm. Your ladder shall be greater. Mm-hmm. Keep on. Keep on. Keep on. I believe in you. My mother didn't have it, but my community did. I know what Georgetown can do. Right. I walk it. I live it. We are it. Everything that we need to succeed, to grow, and to save our community, our youth, our jobs, is in our community. We point the fingers at different things, but when we point the finger at somebody, remember it's 4 fingers pointing back at you. Mm-hmm. I believe in you, GT. I believe in you. And I know that had it not been for the struggle, I wouldn't be here. I didn't think I would make it. I didn't think, but that's God. Like,
and your brother wouldn't be
sitting every time you speak. I end up getting emotional.
Me and Gwen, you know, we grow up. She's right above me, you know, of siblings, you know. She's 1 year older than me. And the same struggle she went through, I went through. When my dad died on the corner of Alex Alford and Dukes, I was standing on the corner of Alex Alford and Prince Street, 2 blocks down. I seen the commotion running. And from there, you know, guns been a part of my life. Death been a part of our life, you know. The struggle. And all the things that I went through from having kids at a young age, Gwen has always been my safety net, you know, from going through all the rough times that I've been through. She's been the one that I've called on when I need to talk to someone now. She's been my safety net. And she supports you, she supports you, and we support y'all.
We support y'all. Absolutely.
And we love what y'all do, and we appreciate y'all for coming out here. And Mal, we really support you. And I've been reading on you for the last 2 weeks, and it just don't stop. I will tell everybody, my age group, my coach in my community, Mal Hyman. it's a change. It's blessed just to stand here across from you, knowing that the impeccable resume that you display and the services, from teaching at Croker, is the 42 years in the school zone. It's amazing, and you have our back. And anytime something is going on in the area, give us a word, and we're going to push it out there for you, Mal.
I'm grateful and energized from the support, and stories like this that you hear on the campaign